Hey everybody, what is going on? Greg here with Z21 Learning, and today we have a pretty fun tutorial. We're going to go ahead and talk about how to do sunrise birthdays. Now I think you're probably wondering, okay, what is sunrise birthdays? Great question. So Monday through Friday in our sunrise broadcast that airs from 5 to 7, around 6:50, we go ahead and do a segment called Sunrise Birthdays, and basically what it is it's an opportunity for viewers to go ahead and submit picture as well as a short message for their loved ones, their friends, their whatever, and we go ahead and put it on TV. Yay! It's also a sponsor event, so we do make money off of it, so that's even more brownie points. Yay! Anyways, let's go ahead and jump on into it. So, a couple things to note in this tutorial. We're going to go ahead and talk about one, archiving sunrise birthdays, because when you get so many submissions, it can be kind of confusing, so we're going to go ahead and talk about how you would keep things organized. Two, we're also going to go ahead and talk about how you crop sunrise birthday pictures. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and also take a look at attaching metadata to sunrise birthdays. And I'll explain what that is and kind of the benefits of doing that. And then three, we'll also go ahead and talk about how you create a sunrise rundown and put the sunrise birthday pictures into that rundown. So I know it sounds like we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but it's not going to be that bad. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. Before we get started, I do want to go ahead and show you guys the actual Sunrise Birthdays template. So inside the Lucy plugin within EMPS, we've got the Sunrise Birthdays picture template, and it kind of looks like this. You're probably thinking, wow, that's not that cool. But bear with me. So basically the way this works is you come over here and, I don't know, let's find like a birthday picture. Here we go. Basically the way it works is you basically go ahead and take your birthday picture, you put it in here, and you've got two options for picture orientation. One is vertical, and that's kind of more like a portrait shot. So it kind of crops off the edges of the picture here. And then the second option you have is to do a horizontal. That's more of a landscape shot. So if you've got a picture that kind of fills the entire screen or most of the screen, you could use this option. In this case, I probably wouldn't use horizontal because the picture doesn't really go all the way up to the edges of this gray box here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say negative. We'll do vertical. You also probably noticed when I dragged and dropped the picture on here into the image field, the name automatically showed up. And the reason why it did that is because I had gone ahead and attached metadata to this image. Basically what metadata does is if you put text in a certain template, or in a certain text field, and then you drag and drop that into the corresponding template, Chiron is set up, Lyric is set up to go ahead and look at those metadata fields on the image, and if it sees text in there, it's going to take that text and auto-populate it into a text field, in this case the name. We'll talk a little bit more about how you actually do that inside of Photoshop, but I just kind of want to show you guys first what the Sunrise Birthdays template actually looks like. Let's go ahead and check out the birthdays email. I'm going to come over here to Chrome, and I'm going to go up to our email. If you need the username and the password for the email, it should be on the master control drive in the passwords folder. Or you can also just go ahead and email me, and I can give that to you, unless you don't work here, in which case I'm afraid I can't, because it's kind of company property. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and log in, and voila, we're in. So a couple things to note, we do get birthdays. We do go ahead and organize them over here in the birthdays months. So it looks like they've got July set up and they've got August, and they start getting birthday for September. They'll have a September folder and stuff. So basically, when you get the email and you're done, cropping it and uploading it and stuff, you would put the email into the corresponding date over here. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the email, and the cool thing about these is they're pretty easy to read. So when people submit a picture to, they want aired in Sunrise Birthdays, they have to fill out this form. And the form pretty much is what you see over here. So first things first, name of the birthday person, in this case it's Rick. Name of the email address was from this dude, whatever. And the cool thing is, in case for whatever reason the picture you get is corrupted, or it's really small, or it looks like garbage, or they forget to include a message, you can write back to the person that submitted the picture, that submitted the request, and you can go ahead and ask them to help you out or send you a picture or whatever. So it's always good to get, have their email address. The birth date, in this case, happens to be August 24th this year. I like the fact that this dude who sent this request couldn't spell August right. Really needs to go back to school. August 24th, also, coincidentally, happens to be on a Saturday. Now, this is a little bit of a problem because we don't have a sunrise newscast on the weekends. But have no fear, we do give them the option of picking another date that they want their birthday to air on. So in this case, they have said, hey, we want this thing to air on Friday, so that's the day before their actual birthday. Cool. Additional info, basically this is where they can go ahead and include like a short message, so that's always good, as well as the photo. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a new tab. Our photo's here. I'm going to go ahead and right click and press copy image. One thing I should mention too is the desktop background on the graphics PC, which is what I'm working on in the control room, normally isn't black. It just is showing up black because of the screen capture software I'm using right now. So if it looks different, that's why. But the process that we're about to do is the same regardless of the desktop background. Anyways, that's a little side note. So I've got that picture copied right now, so I'm going to go ahead and launch Photoshop. And inside of Photoshop, we happen to have a couple actions set up. And one of the actions that we have is for sunrise birthdays. If you're not sure what an action is kind of like a macro. It's sort of a predefined script inside of Photoshop. And when you run that action, it's going to go ahead and, it could create a new canvas, it could add a paint splatter, it could change background, it could invert all the colors. It kind of depends on what you tell it to do. So in this case, I'm going to go over here to my toolbar, and the play button over here is the icon for actions. So I'm going to press that, and I'm going to scroll down here, and we happen to have an action for sunrise birthdays. And basically all this action is going to do is when I click it, it's going to generate a new canvas. It's going to call that canvas sunrise birthdays pick, and it's going to put a bunch of guides on there. So I'm going to go ahead and click sunrise birthdays. If you want, you could also press F2 on the keyboard, and that's kind of the shortcut. And voila, we've got our new canvas here. We've got two sets of guidelines I want to tell you guys about. The inner two guides here, the inner two vertical guides here, are for vertical pictures. So if your picture orientation is vertical based, you want to make sure that you've got the image centered up between these two guidelines. And if you do select vertical as the picture orientation, so if you do select vertical as picture orientation, you're going to get something like this. And it's kind of like making sure that the picture is between these two guides. And if you do horizontal, then your picture is going to show up between these guides, these outer vertical guides here. Anything beyond the outer vertical guides is not going to show up on screen. It's going to be cropped off. So if your picture fills the entire image, just know some part of it will always be cropped. Then we've got this bottom horizontal bar here, this bottom horizontal guide. And basically what this guy is telling you is anything inside this inner area here in the middle is going to be covered up a little bit by a text box as well as text. So if you've got really, maybe you've got a picture of a kid's face and it's really zoomed in close, you just want to make sure that the kid's face isn't getting, doesn't go all the way down here, because then it's going to be, obscured by this text box, and it's going to be like having text in their mouth, and maybe it looks like they're trying to eat the text and they're trying to eat the graphic, and that's not good. So just try to make sure you've got, the bulk of your subject up here. So in this case, that's enough about the template. Let's go ahead and paste our picture on in. So I'm going to go up to Edit and Paste. Because it fills the entire screen, I could actually go ahead and do vertical or horizontal for the picture orientation inside the template. So we might play around with that when we actually get to that point. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and kind of center up this birthday boy in between the two guides here. And that looks pretty good. And again, I'm not too concerned that the edge of the picture doesn't go up here to the edge of the canvas, because anything outside of these two outer guides is going to get cropped anyways, so that's totally fine. So what I want to do now is I want to add some metadata to this picture so that when I drag and drop this picture on into the birthdays template image field, it will automatically auto-populate the name. So the way to do that is I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to go to File Info. And then the field that I want to fill out is this author field. So I'm going to go ahead and type in his name. So he happens to be Rick. And I'm going to go back to my birthdays email, go back to this request. And I'm also going to go ahead and copy and paste this message on in too. And this is just so that I have this as a record inside of Cameo Asset Manager too, inside of this, attach this picture. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I like to. That's just me. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to File. I'm going to go ahead and do Save As. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as a .tiff. And the reason why I'm doing a .tiff is because I want this picture to have metadata attached to it, and .tiff does support that. So I'm going to go ahead for the file name. I'm going to do the date. So it's going to be August 08-23. That's the day they want this birthday picture to air. And then I'm going to do his name. So 08-23, Rick. Press save. Image pyramid is good. Transparency is checked. That's fine. The rest of these settings look great. Press OK. And voila, I'm done with Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And with this birthday submission, I'm actually going to leave this open for right now. Let's see, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and navigate to Cameo Asset Manager. I'm going to go ahead and log on in. If you need the username and password, again, it's stored in the master control drive in the passwords folder, or you could also go ahead and email me this. But again, I'm only going to go ahead and give you this information if you work here. I know that seems kind of mean, but if you don't work here, I can't give you access to it. It's just, kind of the way it is. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and log in. Now we're inside of Cameo Asset Manager. I'm going to navigate over here to our KUZ_context folder. I'm going to toggle that open by pressing the little plus sign here. And I'm going to go to the Sunrise Birthdays folder. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and upload the picture. So I'm going to press this green up arrow. I'm going to press Choose Files. And I've got the picture here on my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. For title, it's just going to be, again, 0823, Rick. Birthdays, it's going to be the subject. I'll put my John Hancock there. Keywords, maybe I'll write his name. The description, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste the text on in. That looks good. Go press OK. And it's uploading, and there it is. So one thing I do want to mention, the reason why I go ahead and do the date in front of the name is so that when I go ahead and organize these pictures and stuff, I can organize by the date. And if I have the date saved in the title first before the name, it shows kind of based off, here's August 7th, 9th, 22nd, 23rd. Looks like they actually don't do that anymore. Looks like they just do the name in front. But I just find it kind of makes things a little bit easier, a little bit more organized inside of Cameo. You don't have to do that. It looks like they don't do that anymore, but whatever. That's totally up to you. So at this point, I've got my picture inside of Cameo. What I need to do is I need to go ahead and archive the email. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my inbox. And I'm going to go ahead and move this email to August 23rd. Now, August 23rd, they haven't made a folder for that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder for this. So I'm going to come over here to our move option, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. It's going to go inside of August 2018. I'm going to choose the same color, so it's going to be also green. Call this August 23rd. Press OK. And now our inbox is empty. The email submission has now been moved to August 23rd, so it's still there. I need to go ahead and reference this again. At the same time, because I went ahead and attached the birthday name as well as the message inside of Cameo Asset Manager, I also don't necessarily need to find that email again. I've put it already with the picture, so when I look for this picture, both the name and the message will show up inside of the Lucy plugin in EMPS. So that's just another way of doing it. Again, you don't have to do that, but I do, so yay. Oh, one thing last but not least too, I forgot to mention this, is there is this Sunrise Birthdays folder here on the desktop. I know some people like to go ahead and archive their pictures and they put it in this folder. Looks like they put both the original untouched picture as well as the cropped one that they upload into Cameo. You can do this if you want to. I typically don't, but in this case, I'll go ahead and put the cropped version in here. And I'm not going to worry about the original one because that's pretty much it. At this point, we've got the birthday picture organized. So we've put the email into the right folder. We've got the picture cropped. We've got upload into Cameo Asset Manager. We've taken the birthday picture that was on the desktop. We put it in the folder. Now what we need to do is when the day comes where I actually need to go ahead and put this picture into the show, we need to create that show. How do you do that? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. So what I'm going to do over here inside of EMPS is I'm going to come up here to my little blue bar here in the top left, and go to New, go to New Rundown. And basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking to go ahead and create a rundown based off of the 6 a.m. sunrise show template. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to Rundown Template. I'm going to look for the 6 a.m. sunrise. I'm also just going to go ahead and call this test here at the end. You wouldn't normally do this. You would just go ahead and create a new 6 a.m. sunrise show. You would do this the day before the picture is supposed to air, so that if this was airing on the 23rd, you would create this show on the 22nd. Once all this is set, I'm going to go ahead and press save. It creates the new rundown as well as opens it up here for me to look at. So I'm looking down here is kind of in this K block. This is sort of the birthdays block, or it looks like it's the last block at the end of the show. So what you've got here is your birthday open, and then you've got your actual birthday segment here. So the way this works is it's normally a 2-anchor shot at the end of the show. You've got, most likely it's the weather person as well as the main anchor. So in this case, happens to be Bob. He's the weather person. Sam, she's the main anchor. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find our template, and we're going to go ahead and find our picture. In this case, it's this dude. Drag and drop it on in here. It autofills his name. I'm going to look at the options too, because I remember this picture worked for both being vertical or horizontal. So vertical looks pretty good. Let's see horizontal. I don't know. What do you think? Kind of toss up, I feel like. You could do either or. I just do vertical in this case. So kind of the way this whole thing works, I kind of missed a step, and I want to backtrack now. So basically what happens is we come out of commercial break, the TD is going to go ahead and roll the Sunrise Birthdays open, and then the open's kind of, Sunrise Birthdays is sponsored by, looks like Mosaic Medical, quality care for all or something. So their logo will show up there on the open, and then their logo will kind of fade off. The TD will then go ahead and bring in this graphic, the Sunrise Birthdays picture. They'll fade it on. It will be on top of the open background, which is just like a shot of the Cascades, the Cascade Mountains with the sunrise going up over them. And that's why you've got this kind of black background here. So it's keyable and stuff. Anyways, it's kind of besides the point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take this MOS ID, and I'm just going to drag it up here into the story segment. And add a space there. Actually, I'm going to put this above. Actually, hang on. Let me just delete this really fast because I think I added it at the wrong spot. Let me add it up here at the top. Yeah, here we go. All right. So basically, we've got this kind of full screen here of our birthday boy, Rick. And then at this point, we want to go ahead and include the short message. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and find birthday boy Rick. And I'm going to change my view options here so that it displays kind of all the keywords and description that go with these pictures. And if I just go ahead and type in his name, he should be the only one that shows up. I guess it's not, but whatever. And because I've gone ahead and attached the message already into the picture, I don't have to look for it in email. So I'm just going to go. So I've gone ahead and pasted the message on in. Looks like Bob's going to be the first one to read this. And then Sam's going to go ahead and read the birthday's address. Once I'm done with this, go ahead and save the segment. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out of it. It's going to say, wait a minute, you made changes. Do you want to save those first? I'm going to be like, yes. Save the changes. It updates over here in the script. And at that point, I'm done. I've successfully gone ahead and done Sunrise birthdays. One thing I do want to mention, and I probably should have made a bigger priority of this before, but when you create the new show rundown, make sure it's for the right date. When I created this one, I thought it was going to be for tomorrow's date. Today's the 2nd, by the way, and tomorrow will be the 3rd, but I created today's date, so you might have to come in here and just manually type in 3, and then that would kind of just update automatically. And then I could, press apply. That's going to go ahead and make this be for tomorrow. So just keep that in mind when you create a new show rundown. All right, so that's kind of Sunrise birthdays in a nutshell. I know we covered a lot of ground. We talked about a lot of different things. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. It's one of those things that seems kind of a little daunting at first, but trust me, the more times you do it, the more it'll make sense. The more you'll be like, wait a minute, this is easy. I got this. I can do this in my sleep. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below or shoot me an email. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take it easy.